The EU WEEE Directive. WEE stands for Waste Electrical and Electronic Equipment. In the European Union, the WEEE Directive was voted on July 4, 2012. It is the Directive 2012/19/EU of the European Parliament and of the Council of 4 July 2012 on waste electrical and electronic equipment. Since Brexit, the UK has its own WEEE regulation. Fortunately, the UK's set of rules does not differ much from the EU legislation. The Directive 2012/19/EU is a recast version that supersedes the previous version, Directive 2002/96/EC. Just like Europe RoHS, UK RoHS and REACH SVHC, the objective of the Directive 2012/19/EU is to protect both the environment and human health. Europe RoHS is dedicated to product design while WEEE takes care of the waste. WEE exclusively focuses on the negative impacts of electrical and electronic waste. WEE aims at reducing or avoiding such impacts via more efficient collection and recycling. Every member state in the European Union has voted its regulation on a national level for the implementation of the WEEE Directive. Other countries worldwide also adopted WEEE-like regulations, such as India, provinces of Canada, and many states of the USA. Why WEEE regulations? Tens of millions of metric tons of electronic waste are generated annually worldwide. Due to its complex nature and diversity of materials, it is very hard to recycle electronic waste properly. On top of containing various hazardous substances despite the RoHS, REACH SVHC, and persistent organic pollutants efforts, the quantities of electronic waste tend to increase years after years. Still, in our days, the vast majority of electronic waste collection methods are not even documented. Too many quantities of e-waste end up in landfills, are illegally exported, and are not safely recycled. What does it mean to be WEEE compliant? The WEEE approach follows the Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) principle. If, as a producer or an importer, you introduce in scope electrical or electronic equipment into the EU market, here is what you need to accomplish. 1. Provide WEEE management information. First of all, Article 15, Section 1 of the European WEEE Directive requires producers to provide information on reuse and treatment for recycling of their products, identifying subassemblies as well as hazardous chemicals. 2. Mark your devices with the information crossed out wheelie bin symbol. 3. Register as a steward and join a compliance scheme. Unless you have your own approved collection and recycling system, you will also have to adhere to an authorized compliance scheme in every European Union member state where you place in-scope equipment. 4. Appoint an authorized representative, where required. Furthermore, in many cases, you may have to appoint authorized representatives, AR, in the member states. This requirement may apply where you do business, but don't have a legal entity. 5. Send periodical reports and pay the eco fees. You must declare and pay the corresponding fees separately to every national agency in charge of WEEE. What must be declared is the quantities placed, number of units and weight, per product category. This needs to be done annually in most states. 6. Archive your data. Finally, exported EEE data and sales should be kept internally for a minimum of 4 years. WEE scope and product categories. Under the EU WEEE Directive, the scope is very broad. Large household appliances. Small household appliances. IT and telecommunications equipment. Consumer equipment and photovoltaic panels. Lighting equipment. Electrical and electronic tools. Toys, leisure, and sports equipment. Medical devices. Monitoring and control instruments. Automatic dispensers. Is the registration mandatory for all manufacturers of electronic devices? Both household and professional products fall under the scope. There is no de minimis. As a result, even if you only sell one in-scope product into a specific member state during the year, then you must comply with all of the WEEE applicable requirements. Packaging, battery waste recycling, and the French Triman requirements follow the same extended producer responsibility principle as WEEE. E-waste regulations in North America. Several places such as U.S. states, Canadian provinces, and territories have enacted WEEE, e-waste or e-cycling regulations. Similar to the European Union, most e-waste legislation in the USA follows the Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) principle. As a result, producers will collect and treat e-waste at their own expense. Electronic product recycling regulations in Canada. In Canada, every producer of in-scope electrical and electronic products must register, declare and pay monthly eco-fees in the applicable provinces and territories. In Quebec, the WEEE rules apply to manufacturers and suppliers, according to the regulation respecting the recovery and reclamation of products by enterprises, Q2, R. 40.1. In Ontario, the regulation for recycling of electrical and electronic equipment and batteries under the Resource Recovery and Circular Economy Act, RRCEA, 2016 Aero 0190048 Reg. 522/20 aims at the producer's full responsibility for the waste management of its products.